Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys been well. And yeah, I know I haven't posted in a while. Just feeling a little bit burned out from posting videos. And I guess that does happen with content creating. Even though it's like, it's on surface it's pretty easy, but it does get burned out. That maybe this maybe that's something that maybe this is normal. Um yeah, but guys, I'm just gonna read something that I read today, and I thought was pretty insightful, and I wanted to share. God puts you in hard moments when you cry out for His comfort, so that your heart becomes tender to those near you who need the same comfort. Sometimes we are quicker to judge than to comfort. This hit me not too long ago on the streets of Philadelphia. Where I live, I walked by a young homeless person who was begging on the street, and I immediately thought, I wonder what you did to get yourself here. Criticisms came more quickly to me than compassion. Heartedness is more natural for us than I think we like to admit. We are that way with our children when we yell at them as if we are shocked that they are struggling with the same things we struggle with when we were their age. We are that way when we look down on the parents who can't seem to control their children in restaurants, or on those who have trouble paying their bills. It is a function of the self-righteousness that in some ways still lives inside all of us. When we have named ourselves as strong, wise, capable, mature, and righteous, we tend to look down on those who have not achieved what we think we have. So God humbles us. He puts us in situations where our weakness, foolishness, and immaturities are exposed. I remember how I struggled with the sovereignty of God in the painful days after my father's death. I have previously prided myself in how well I understood and could communicate this important doctrine. But there I was, grappling with God's plan. At street level, my dad's story made no sense to me. I wonder what in the world God was doing. It all looked chaotic and out of control. It was humbling to admit my struggle, but doing so caused me to be much more sensitive and patient with others who struggle with God's rule in hard moments in their lives. Here's how Paul captures this in 2 Corinthians 1, verse 1. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort, who comforts us in our affliction, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in any affliction with the same comfort with which are comforted by God. If we are afflicted, it is for your comfort and salvation. And if we are comforted, it is for your comfort. The hard moments are not just for your growth in grace, but you're called to be a tool of that same grace in the life of another sufferer. In difficulty, God is softening your heart and sharpening your edges so that you may be ready to make the comfort of the invisible Father visible in the life of the weary pilgrims He has placed in your pathway. God intends for you to hope. God intends for you to give away the comfort you've been given. The grace that has been given you hope. The grace that has given you hope is meant to spill over into hope for the person next to you. What a plan. As I was reading this, I was thinking about, first of all, the self-righteousness, because I feel like we all tend to do that. I think especially when we're in in a better place of a certain season, that we tend to look down on others and judge, criticize, and just in our own head, in our own mind, heart, make us feel um, righteous, righteous about how we got here and why someone else isn't there. And like this passage kind of says that criticism does come more quickly than compassion, and maybe that's just how our that's just how human nature is sometimes, I guess. It's just that we have the innate need to feel righteous, to feel good, and also when we're not the ones feeling good, that we expect empathy from people who are doing better. And when we're doing good, that you know other people expect empathy from us when they're not doing good. And it's just so interesting, and because I feel like we live in this reality that this happens all the time. We could always think of situations that, if we self-reflect, that we think back on moments where we've been in these various positions in our seasons. And it's humbling. It's humbling because, like I said, the passage also talks about the time when someone that the author suffer, when his father is deaf, and just trying to grasp and trying to comprehend those hard moments when God puts us in, and it is true that in only in those hard moments, when we can't stand alone in our own strength, right, that we cry out for his comfort. And the only person I think that can really softens our heart is God. And God will use hard moments to help us humble ourselves, to realize that we can't do things alone, that we need him, that we need others, that we need help ultimately. And it's tough. I think that we all have these ups and downs, and that's just part of life. We can't always be up all the time, right? We need lows sometimes in life to appreciate the up. And one last thing I want to just make a point is that is that the hard moments, what it says right here, are not just used for your growth in grace, but for your call to be a tool in the same grace in the life of a sufferer. It's that when we go through these hard things ourselves, we realize the capacity that we needed, right? The grace, the empathy, and the comfort. And once we realize that ourselves, or once we're able to get through it by the grace of God, these challenges, right? And when we see someone else, right, in our life that's going through similar, right? Hence the passage. Be ready to make the comfort of the invisible Father visible in the life of the weary pilgrims he has placed in your pathway. So hence the people, right? Be ready to show the comfort, right? Be ready to be the ambassador of how God treated us. Allow us to treat the people who are going to do something similar with the same comfort, with the same love, the same grace that God has given to us when we're in those lowly moments, when we're in those tough seasons. And yeah, to be a tool, of peace. Yeah, this was very humbling to read. And yeah, the grace that God has given us is meant to spill over to the next person. That means how God have loved us is the same how we should love the people who are going through those troubled times. I hope this message resonates with you and reminded you or humbled you in some ways, because it did humble me. As always, guys, I hope you have a blessed day, and thanks for watching until the end. Peace.